The Battle of Badr is a significant event in the history of Islam. It was fought on the 17th of Ramadan in the second year of Hijra 624 C, near the town of Badr, which is located in the western part of Saudi Arabia. The battle was fought between the Muslims led by Prophet Muhammad and the polytheists of Mecca. The battle was a turning point in the early history of Islam and proved to be a decisive victory for the Muslim. Before the Battle of Badr, the Muslims of Medina had faced constant aggression from the polytheists of Mecca. The Prophet Muhammad and his followers were forced to flee Mecca and take refuge in Medina. The polytheists of Mecca were not willing to leave the Muslims in peace and wanted to destroy the nascent Muslim community. They launched a series of attacks against the Muslims of Medina, which led to several skirmishes between the two sides. The polytheists of Mecca were well equipped and well trained, and they outnumbered the Muslims. On the other hand, the Muslims were poorly equipped and had limited resources. The situation was becoming increasingly tense, and it was clear that a decisive confrontation was inevitable. The Prophet Muhammad realized that the Muslims were not prepared to face the polytheists in a full-scale battle. He, therefore, consulted with his companions and sought advice on the best course of action. Some of his companions were in favor of avoiding a direct confrontation with the polytheists and adopting a defensive strategy. However, others were of the opinion that the Muslims should take the initiative and attack the polytheists. After careful consideration, the Prophet Muhammad decided to take the offensive and confront the polytheists. He, therefore, mobilized his forces and set out for Badr with a force of about 313 men. The Muslim army was divided into 3 battalions, with the Prophet Muhammad leading the middle battalion. The polytheists of Mecca were also preparing for the battle. They had mobilized a force of about 1,000 men, which included a large number of cavalry and archers. They were confident of their strength and believed that they would easily defeat the Muslims. Battle of Badr took place on the 17th of Ramadan in the second year of Hijra. The two armies met near the wells of Badr. The battle began with a duel between 3 Muslim warriors and 3 polytheist warriors. The Muslims emerged victorious in the duel, which boosted their morale. The battle then turned into a full-scale confrontation between the two armies. The Muslims fought with great courage and determination, and the polytheists were taken by surprise. The Muslim archers were particularly effective, and they inflicted heavy casualties on the polytheist cavalry. The polytheists, on the other hand, were disorganized and lacked coordination. They made several tactical mistakes, which further weakened their position. The Muslim army took advantage of these mistakes and launched a fierce attack, which threw the polytheists into disarray. The Battle of Badr continued for several hours, and it was a hard-fought battle. However, in the end, the Muslims emerged victorious. They had managed to defeat a much larger and better-equipped army, which was a remarkable achievement. Aftermath. The Battle of Badr was a turning point in the early history of Islam. The victory of the Muslims at Badr proved that they were a force to be reckoned with, and it boosted their morale. The battle also had a significant impact on the polytheists of Mecca, their confidence and perception of invincibility. The victory at Badr not only had military implications, but also had a profound impact on the social and political landscape of Arabia. The news of the Muslim victory spread rapidly, and it attracted the attention of various tribes in the region. Many tribes began to reconsider their stance towards Islam and started to view the Muslims as a formidable force. The Battle of Badr also had important ramifications within the Muslim community itself. It solidified the authority and leadership of Prophet Muhammad among his followers. The victory demonstrated his strategic acumen and his ability to guide the Muslims to success even in the face of adversity. It established him as a respected and revered leader, both in the eyes of his companions and the wider community. Furthermore, the spoils of war obtained from the Battle of Badr provided much-needed resources for the Muslim community. The captured wealth and weaponry were distributed among the Muslims, strengthening their economic and military capabilities. This newfound strength and stability allowed the Muslims to face future challenges with greater confidence and resilience. The Battle of Badr also had repercussions for the polytheists of Mecca. The defeat was a significant blow to their prestige and power. It shattered the myth of their invincibility and exposed their vulnerabilities. Many polytheists who had previously dismissed Islam as a passing phenomenon began to view it with apprehension and concern. The battle intensified the animosity between the Muslims and the polytheists, leading to subsequent conflicts and battles. The polytheists sought revenge for their defeat and launched further campaigns against the Muslims. However, the outcome of the Battle of Badr had a lasting impact on the dynamics of the conflict. It marked the beginning of a gradual shift in power as the Muslims gained momentum and consolidated their position in the Arabian Peninsula. In addition to its immediate consequences, the Battle of Badr holds a significant place in Islamic history and theology. It is considered a pivotal event that tested the faith and resolve of the early Muslim community. Muslims regard the battle as a divine intervention, with angels fighting alongside them against the polytheists. The Quranic verses revealed during and after the battle emphasized the importance of faith, unity, and trust in God's support. The Battle of Badr serves as a source of inspiration for Muslims throughout history. It exemplifies the importance of faith, perseverance, and strategic planning in the face of overwhelming odds. The lessons learned from Badr continue to resonate, reminding Muslims of the power of conviction and the potential for triumph even in the most challenging circumstances. Since you have reached so far, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe our channel.